Hello and welcome to ORCA Ireland's Climate Chronicle videos, where we explain different concepts related to climate change in an accessible way. In this video, you'll learn about creative solutions to problems caused by climate change, current government responses, and what you can do as an individual. If you haven't already watched our last Climate Chronicles video on the impact of climate change on biodiversity, pause this video and scroll down to the link in the description. If you need a quick refresher, coastal squeeze is an ever-increasing problem that occurs as people build infrastructure closer and closer to the edge of the sea and as sea level rises in tandem, making intertidal habitats disappear. A company called Art Ecology has taken the plight of intertidal creatures to heart and introduced vertipools, a novel and science-backed solution to the phenomenon of coastal squeeze. These artificial vertical rock pools provide habitats that can be attached to otherwise barren seawalls and have been shown to greatly increase biodiversity in areas where these intertidal communities have been lost. As ingenuitive as this is, climate change really needs to be tackled on a global scale. In late 2021, over 200 countries joined forces at the 26th Annual UN Climate Change Conference and produced the Glasgow Climate Pact. They recognized the emergency and reaffirmed the Paris Agreement to limit the temperature increase from before the Industrial Revolution to well below 2 degrees, hoping to limit it to 1.5 degrees, and expressed alarm that human activities have already caused a warming of 1.1 degrees. Countries emphasized the urgency of action as emissions must be reduced to net zero by 2050. The pact calls for a phase-down of coal, oil, and other fossil fuels for the first time in UN climate talks, though many argued this was not ambitious enough. Developed countries had not followed through on their promise of delivering $100 billion a year for developing countries and promised to do so. The pact also allocates funding to developing countries being impacted by climate change to protect human lives and livelihoods. To finish the implementation of the Paris Agreement, an enhanced transparency framework was agreed on to provide timeframes and regular reports of progress in a common format. Finally, these countries acknowledge that climate change disproportionately affects the people in the developing world and have created the Santiago Network to connect vulnerable countries with those that can provide technical assistance. In the wake of this agreement, the Irish government plans to invest in green transport and renewable electricity sources. Cycling paths are to be expanded and more park and ride facilities are to be added. 1 million electric vehicles are to be on the road by 2030, and public buses are not to run on diesel. Homeowners are encouraged to use solar panels to generate their own electricity and sell what they don't use back to the grid. Ireland will stop burning fossil fuels such as peat and coal, and 70% of energy will come from renewable sources by 2030. A large part of the Irish governmental goal focuses on creating a more circular economy, a system where the life cycle of products is extended and there is less waste and more focus on reusing and repairing or recycling existing materials instead of manufacturing and purchasing new ones. This includes a goal of a 50% reduction in food waste and a 10% reduction in landfill waste by 2030. Sustainable fashion, plastic-free clothing, and item sharing are to be promoted in this green culture. 55% of plastic packaging and 70% of total packaging is to be recycled by 2030, and single-use plastics will be banned. If you are a concerned human who doesn't have plans to build a biomimicking seawall or attend a UN conference anytime soon, please check out ORCA's list of tips and tricks, and remember, one person can make a difference. Take Emer, one of ORCA's founders. Thank you for watching. If you stuck around until now, go comment something you've learned or a topic that you would like us to cover next.